80% of women clean their homes every day, but don't realize it's the small, unconscious habits they repeat that are actually making the house feel messy. You're still cleaning. But if every morning the clothes are still on the chair, the sink's still full, and the table still has random stuff on it, then clearly something's off that we're not noticing. This video isn't about motivation or a big house cleaning plan. I'm going to walk through 10 very specific reasons your home feels messy. Things happening every day, right there at the sink, on the sofa, or wherever you're standing. I'm not naturally tidy. But once I started paying attention to the right spots, my home became way easier to manage, even with kids and a busy schedule. If you're tired of ending each day looking around at stuff still scattered everywhere, I think you'll find something helpful in this list. Let's get into it. Let's start with the first reason: folding laundry on the couch and then leaving it there. This one used to happen in my house all the time. I'd bring in a fresh load from the dryer, dump it on the couch, start folding while catching up on something or talking to the kids, and then I'd walk away. Not intentionally, just like I'll come back and put it away in a bit. But more often than not, I wouldn't. Fast forward a few hours, someone sat on it, kids have knocked over a stack, or I've lost track of what was clean and what wasn't. At that point, the whole pile might as well go back in the hamper. It's frustrating because technically the hard part is done. You already folded it. But now it feels like you're starting over. And it's not even about the mess looking bad to other people. It's about how it feels when you walk past the same pile over and over again. Even if it's folded, it just sits there as a reminder that something's still hanging over your head. I don't have a perfect system for this, but something that's helped is just not using the couch for folding anymore. For me, it's the bed. Not because it's more efficient or productive, but just because I have to clear it by the end of the night if I want to sleep. So eventually, even if it's 10 p.m., those clothes do get put away. It's not about being more disciplined or having better routines. Honestly, I'm not great at routines. But I found that when I fold laundry somewhere that kind of forces me to finish the job, it's less likely to sit there for 2 days and end up needing to be rewashed. So if laundry piles are a thing in your home too, especially on the couch, maybe that's why the living room never quite feels clear. Not because it's dirty, but because it's paused. And that pause can stretch for days. Actually, this reminds me, in one of the next videos, I'll go into a few cleaning habits that feel productive but actually just slow you down. The kind of stuff I didn't realize was wasting my time until I looked closer. You might be doing them without thinking, just like I was. But let's keep going now. For today, here's the second reason that tends to sneak up on us. Reason number 2 is super simple but has a bigger impact than I expected: not emptying the dishwasher in the morning. This used to be one of those things I'd push off without thinking. I'd wake up, see the clean dishes still sitting in there from the night before, and think I'll get to that later. Morning's already packed anyway, making breakfast, getting kids ready, checking emails so it doesn't feel urgent. But here's what actually happens because I didn't empty it early. The new dirty dishes from breakfast have nowhere to go. So they sit in the sink. Lunch comes around, same thing. Now the counter's full, the sink's packed, and I still haven't touched the dishwasher. By dinner, it feels like I have double the work. I've got to unload everything from earlier and clean what's piled up since. And honestly, at that point, I'm tired. I just want to get through the evening, not tackle a sink full of cold, sticky dishes. It creates this low-grade stress throughout the day. The kitchen never really resets, it just gets worse in stages. Even if the rest of the house is fine, the kitchen looks like a mess, and that makes everything feel heavier. I'm not saying I empty it every single morning. Some days I forget, or just don't get to it. But when I do, even if it's just while waiting for the kettle to boil, the whole day flows better. I can rinse and load as I go, the counters stay clear, and by evening there's no mountain of dishes waiting for me. It's such a small shift, but it really changed the pace of how my kitchen works. And it's not about having a routine nailed down, it's just about giving yourself less to deal with later. So if your sink is always full and the kitchen feels messy even before lunch, reason number 2 might be that the dishwasher never got emptied this morning. Reason number 3 is something so many of us do without even thinking: putting things on the stairs with the intention of taking them up later. and then not doing it. It usually starts with good intentions. You're tidying up downstairs and you find socks, toys, a water bottle, or something that clearly belongs upstairs. So you place it neatly on the side of the stairs thinking, I'll grab it next time I go up. Sounds efficient, right? But then, you don't go up. Or if you do, your hands are full or your brain's on something else and you walk right past the pile like it's invisible. Before you know it, it's been 3 days and that small pile has turned into a mini drop zone. A basket, a bag, a stack of random things just living there on the steps. The problem isn't just that the stuff sits there, it's that after a while you stop noticing it. It becomes part of the stairs. You walk past it so many times that it just blends in. And once that happens, other people in the house start doing the same, leaving things there for later, and no one ever brings them up. What's worked for me isn't some strict rule. It's just deciding that if I set something on the stairs, it has to move by the end of the day, even if it's just upstairs in a corner for now. Sometimes I'll even carry stuff up during a bathroom break. And if you live in a 2-story home, this one adds up fast. The stairs seem like a great spot to collect stuff for later, but it ends up being a visual reminder of everything you haven't finished. So if your stairs have turned into a holding zone for random things. Reason number 3 might be why your home always feels a bit out of order even when everything else is picked up. Number 4 is something I didn't realize for a long time, but once I noticed it, it explained a lot cleaning things in the wrong order. I used to jump into cleaning whenever I had a few minutes. No plan, no sequence, just whatever felt urgent in the moment. I'd wipe a counter before clearing it off. I'd sweep before picking up shoes or toys on the floor. I'd start organizing a drawer without making space for the stuff I needed to pull out. Technically, I was doing the right things, just not in a way that worked. What ended up happening is I'd do one thing, then have to go back and redo it. It felt like I was always busy, but nothing ever looked finished. It's frustrating because you're putting in time and effort, but the result doesn't show. And worse, it makes you feel like you're bad at cleaning when really it's just the order that's off. For example, let's say I vacuum the living room. Then 5 minutes later, I notice the kids' shoes by the door or a basket of stuff that should have been picked up first. Now, I either leave it or I have to vacuum again. Or I wipe a table that still has books and water bottles all over it, so I'm cleaning around things instead of clearing them first. I'm not strict about routines, but even just having a rough sequence makes a difference. Like clear first, then wipe. Pick up off the floor, then sweep. Sort things before trying to organize them. Little shifts like that have saved me a lot of time and energy, especially when I'm already tired and don't want to redo things. So if you feel like you're always cleaning but nothing ever looks done, number 4 might be why. The 5th reason your home might always feel a little cluttered even when you've cleaned is this leaving small random items on every flat surface. It sounds harmless. You come in the door and drop your keys on the table. There's some unopened mail, a pair of sunglasses, a pack of gum receipts, hair ties, earbuds, whatever's in your hands at that moment. You don't think much of it because it's just 1 or 2 things. You're planning to come back to it later. But the truth is, flat surfaces become magnets. The kitchen counter, the coffee table, the entryway, bench, the corner of the dining table, they all quietly turn into drop zones. Not big piles, just scattered things that build up without you realizing. And because it's not technically trash or dirty laundry, your brain kind of tunes it out. That's what happened in my house. I'd wipe down the counters, sweep the floor, fluff the pillows, but the surfaces still looked busy, like the space was never really finished. And it wasn't until I started paying attention to all the tiny items sitting out that I realized, oh, this is why it never feels clear in here. Now, I'm not saying you have to be minimalist or keep every surface empty all the time. That's not realistic. Life happens. But what helped me was just having one place for all that little stuff, like a small tray on the counter or a drawer by the entryway. Somewhere I can toss the things I don't want to deal with right away without spreading them all over the house. Because when every surface has just a few things, it adds up fast. You start to feel like there's always something in the way, even if the rest of the house is technically clean. So yeah, if your space always looks a little full, even after you've tidied up, number 5 might be all those little items that land where they don't belong. Number 6 is one I didn't want to admit for a while because I thought I was being organized. But looking back, it's pretty clear I was constantly adding new stuff, without ever letting anything go. It's subtle at first. You get a new water bottle, but keep the old one just in case. You buy new throw pillows, but don't really get rid of the old ones. You grab another phone charger, another tote bag, another storage bin, and slowly the extras start piling up. I used to feel like I was doing something good, upgrading, being prepared, staying stocked. But over time, all the backups, duplicates, and maybe I'll use this later. Items started filling up drawers, cabinets, and shelves. And even though nothing was technically messy, everything just felt full. That's the tricky part. The clutter didn't come from junk. It came from too much of what used to be useful. I didn't even realize how packed things were until I'd open a cabinet and see 4 extra mugs I hadn't touched in a year. Or I'd go to put away a new bag and realize I had no space because I'd kept every single one I've ever owned. Now, I'm not against having extras. But what helped was this: anytime something new came in, I'd pause and ask, is there something I can let go of? Not in a big purge kind of way, just one item at a time. Sometimes I didn't have an answer, and that's fine. But most of the time, there was something that no longer fit or that I just wasn't using anymore. So if your home feels more crowded than it used to, even though you've been organizing and tidying, number 6 might be that the flow is one way. Stuff comes in, but nothing's going out. Let's talk about number 7, only cleaning the surface, but not actually dealing with what's underneath. I didn't realize how often I was doing this until it became a pattern. I'd tidy up a room, smooth out the blankets, wipe the table, stack some papers neatly, and it would look okay for a day or two. But then, somehow, the mess came right back. And the reason I wasn't really clearing anything out, I was just shifting things around. There was a drawer in my kitchen I'd organize all the time. But all I was really doing was rearranging stuff I didn't need: expired coupons, random pens, batteries that might be dead manuals from things we don't even own anymore. It looked better for a minute, but it wasn't clean. It was just tucked away. Same thing in the closet. I'd fold everything, stack it nicely, maybe add a bin or two, but I wasn't letting go of anything. Clothes that didn't fit, stuff I hadn't worn in years, it was all still there, just hidden behind the part that looked tidy. And the thing is, that kind of surface cleaning is exhausting. You keep redoing the same spaces over and over, and they never stay clear for long because the real problem is still sitting underneath. What helped was changing the goal. Instead of asking, how can I make this look neater, I started asking, what here do I actually use? Sometimes the answer was obvious, like dried up markers or single socks. Other times it took a minute. But once I started clearing from the root, I didn't have to organize as much. There was just less to keep up with. So, if you're constantly tidying but nothing ever stays tidy, reason number 7 might be that you're only cleaning the surface. And that surface resets itself real fast. Number 8 is something I didn't notice until I started feeling weirdly overwhelmed in rooms that were technically clean, just having too many little decor things sitting out. Like I'd walk into the living room and everything was in place. Floors clean, no dishes, nothing obvious out of order. But it still didn't feel clear. It felt kind of crowded. And the more I looked, the more I realized it wasn't mess, it was all the little things I'd decorated with. A candle here, a little sign, a fake plant, a bowl with something in it, a stack of books I never read but looked cute. None of it was wrong, but it was everywhere: on the coffee table, the TV stand, the entry table, the shelf. Every surface had something sitting on it. And what happens is, even when your space is technically clean, it still feels like a lot. Your eyes don't really get a break. Nothing feels fully reset because every area is holding on to just a little bit too much. I'm not anti-decor. I still love candles, and I definitely have some just for fun pieces around. But what helped was cutting it down. Not all at once and not in a minimalist way. Just picking a few things I actually enjoy and letting the rest go, or at least putting them away for a while. Now, when I clean up the room, it actually feels clean. Not just because there's no mess, but because the space looks calmer too. So if your home feels busy even when it's not messy, reason number 8 might be that you're simply decorating more than the space needs. And sometimes taking just a few things away makes the room feel better than adding more ever did. Number 9 is one of those things I didn't really think about until I started cleaning in better lighting dim rooms. Make it way harder to see dust crumbs and random mess. There were days I'd clean the whole living room, vacuum wipe everything down, fluff the pillows, and feel pretty good about it. But the next morning, with sunlight coming through the windows, I'd see dust on the shelves, smudges on the table, and crumbs I missed on the rug. I'd think, did I even clean yesterday? Turns out I did. I just couldn't see what was left behind because the lighting was too soft the night before. This happens a lot when you're cleaning in the evening, which I usually do. You've got warm lamps on, overhead lights that aren't super bright, and everything looks okay. Until natural light shows you what you missed. It's not that the room is actually dirtier, it's just that low light hides the stuff you'd normally catch and take care of right away. What helped wasn't changing all my light bulbs or making the house brighter all the time. It was just doing a quick check during the day when I could. Even just opening the curtains when I'm cleaning makes a difference. That way I don't waste time going over things twice later. And honestly, this one matters more than I expected. Because when you think you've cleaned something but it doesn't look clean in daylight, it's frustrating. You start to feel like your effort didn't count when really you just couldn't see what needed doing. So if you feel like you just cleaned but the room still looks a little off, the next day, reason number 9 might be the lighting. Last one, number 10. And this one has nothing to do with how your house looks. It's about how it smells and feels when you walk in. There were days when I'd clean for hours. Floors vacuumed, counters, wiped, dishes done, and the house would look great. But I'd walk into the kitchen or hallway and something still felt off. Not messy, just not fresh. And the more I paid attention, the more I realized it was the smell. Maybe the trash hadn't gone out yet, or the laundry had been sitting a little too long. Sometimes it was just the air, humid, stuffy, like the windows hadn't been opened in days. That kind of thing doesn't show up in photos. It doesn't make the house look dirty, but it does make the space feel heavy, like it needs something even if you can't point to what. For me, the fix wasn't complicated. Just cracking open a window for 15 minutes, running a fan, taking the trash out right away instead of later. Little things that helped the space breathe again. I also started doing a quick smell check in areas I'd gotten nose blind to, like near the trash can or the laundry area. Not in a gross way, just enough to notice when something needed attention. And I'll say this, sometimes a room that's perfectly clean can still feel unpleasant if the air isn't right. On the flip side, a space that's not spotless can feel fine if it smells fresh and light. So if your home looks clean but doesn't feel clean, reason number 10 might be the air itself. The smell, the heaviness, the moisture. And the good news, that's one of the easiest things to change, no scrubbing required. So those were the 10 small reasons that might be making your home feel messy, even when you've been trying your best to keep up. None of them are dramatic, but when they add up, they make a real difference. And if a few of them sounded familiar, don't worry, that just means you're normal. We're not aiming for perfect. Just less chaos, a little more calm. In the next video, I'll share a few cleaning habits that seem helpful, but actually make things harder without you realizing it. These are the kind of habits I wish I'd caught earlier, because once you spot them, you can stop wasting time on what doesn't work. If that sounds like something you'd want to hear, make sure to like this video, share it with someone who's also in the middle of real-life mess, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Thanks for spending time with me today, and I'll see you in the next one.